All right, here we go. Big Daddy Shin, 1,101 days to park. My ankle hurts so bad. I did not run. I did not do anything. My ankle just hurts. I'm pretty upset because it's like, okay, I woke up I thought I had a cold, a legit cold. I'm runny nose, sneezing, coughing. I'm going, oh gosh, don't tell me after this. Because, yesterday, I was outside with Harold at the lunch, and then I did the, what do you call it? The walk at night, and then, it was freezing last night. But, this is the worst time to get sick. But now that I'm out and about, I feel great. It's like, I got to figure out what's up with my place, right? So speaking of places, this is a lesson about making sure you know what you're gonna do, okay? Like research, all that kind of stuff, okay? Now, it's one of those lifestyle things, I get it, just always try to think of different stories. But I should have told this the other day, but I was so much into my best in world stuff, So you guys know I'm buying a house. I'm trying to buy a house. But every time you see a house within the 650 range or something, they just go. They disappear. It's like magic. But, 650, 700, 750, all that kind of stuff, right? But, sometimes, by the time you see it on the listing, then it's like gone. So, I was looking at a really nice house, but, I couldn't afford that one. But the other one, I'm like, okay, nice view. I think my mom would like this. And, I could use a little work on it. And then so I go, okay, you know what? I'm going to offer so much money on it, right? And then so even though when I went there, I'm like, gosh, this room's kind of small and whatever. But okay, I did the thing and we offered. And then so, they're asking me, hey, how much can you put down? We can put 20% down. I can move them right away. I'm month to month of my, I rent month to month in my place for like 10 years. So yeah, for the people that rent, just know renting for 10 years, it's not the business. Could probably bought a house with that much rent. So, what happens is, after we put in the offer, then the seller gave us like these disclosures about the house. So this is when you find out what's wrong with the house, right? And they're trying to sell it as is. And so, they're talking about, she's, oh, good thing we should have bid, a couple, like $30,000 lower. I go, why? She goes, look at the report, and it said, plumbing, like water saving thing. I'm like, okay, figure that's not too bad. Hopefully Harold the handyman will help me out, right? But the next thing it said, it's like somebody died, like natural causes, But I knew that the people that are selling it, they're kind of old. So I figured, okay, maybe their mom passed away and stuff. But, when did it do it? October. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, my mom's going to kill me if I got this house. I'm thinking, you know what? I was talking with Harold too. It's like, yeah, well, I don't know. There's a bad stigma. And, if you believe in ghosts, then yeah, it's horrible, right? But you figure, okay, houses, people, pass away. And so I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I guess it's not that big of a deal. F it. I'm going to get it. Actually, my real estate agent, she told me a story about, this is back in the day. These people were looking at this house that she was, buying a house for. She was looking for them. And then this house is worth like $400,000. And then turns out that there was like a gruesome murder at the scene. And then so instead of going down in price, it went up to $500,000. And then they're like, what? A house that was the scene of a gruesome murder scene went up $100,000? That's not the worst of it. People are still bidding for it and eventually went to $570,000. It's like, turns out people don't really care. Okay? So that's the lesson of that story. I'm like, gosh, You know, I mean, this kind of information would probably be good to know. So now here, I'm thinking, oh, wow, I'm in the know and, you know, whatever. So, you know, I told her, okay, fine. Let's bid this much money. And then, so she talked to the person, and then they said, like, yeah, I was the only one, you know, like other people, they had to wait till their houses get sold and they could buy it, that kind of stuff. Contingency, that's what it is. And what happened is they're looking for some investor or whatever that's going to buy the house as is. So, you know, with all the crappy plumbing and all this stuff and people dying in the, they didn't really care. They just want somebody who, when the inspection comes in and they find out that the house isn't worth this, what it is, then they would have, you know, they're not going to change the price. So, all right, okay, whatever. So I was talking to my real estate agent afterwards. I said, hey, that's a good thing we didn't buy that thing. She's like, yeah, right? And then, like, I can't believe, you know, how crazy that was. What's the big deal? It's just bad plumbing, just one person. Maybe their mom died. She said, no, not one person died. So in 10 years, 20 people died. I'm like, holy crap, right? So I guess what it was is they were running some type of convalescent business in there, and then so they got old people in there, and then they died. I'm like, oh my gosh. One person, I get it, that's like a fluke, but you know, it's like 20 people in 10 years, that's like the house of death. And seriously, yeah, Mom, I didn't buy that house, but it's like, oh man, it's like, who's next, you know? It's like racing to the finish line, right? So, ghost or no ghost, my limit, my max of buying a house with people dying in it is probably 1. That's the max. Maybe 2. Not 20. So, that was pretty crazy. So, yeah. Anyways, I'm still in an apartment. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I started walking around today because my ankle feels much better. And it's one of the things where when you have the form of your walking, if you do the limp, then other parts of your leg start hurting. Like I could sense that my knee was starting to hurt a little before, but now it's fine. But yeah, it's not as painful as before. And I feel pretty good. So, I don't know. I just gotta, instead of just sitting there and crying about stuff, I've really gotta just analyze the stuff and figure out why. And it might be because I didn't wear my Hoka running shoes. I used my old ones for the last couple of days. That could have been it too. All right, there you go. Day 1101. 1101 in the books. So, you know, the whole thing about being careful about as is, you know, just know that if you don't be careful about, like, you know, what you're doing, next thing you know, you could be hanging out in a place where 20 people died in the past 10 years, right? So I lived in my apartment for the last 10 years and nobody died. So, you know, it's kind of weird. But those type of things, it's like you have to understand that, you know, you just got to be careful on stuff. Not saying that's like a dangerous thing or anything, but probably something that you want to know, this whole comfort level and whatever. But yeah, and then, you know, all the different plans that you do, you got to really analyze, you know, is it really what it is? I don't know. So you always have to investigate. All right. Anyways, BDS day 1101. If I can exercise 1101 days in a row, you could exercise 1101 days in a row. Because if I can do it, you could do it. And I'm doing it. Investigating.